Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Courtside Soundoff podcast. Once again, I'm Josh Evanoff. As always, welcome by the one and only man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, future Jiu-Jitsu world champion, Angel Ortega. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this week. It is UFC 300 Fight Week, boys. We finally made it, one of the biggest cards in UFC history. Before we break into all the action, as always, we're brought to you by two fantastic sponsors of the show, Rogue Energy and ELYXR. Rogue Energy, keep me fueled up no matter where I'm at, whether I'm at the gym, working at home, or doing this podcast. It gets me through and can get you through with code SOUNDOFF at checkout for 10% off. ELYXR, they're going to get you really high with their Delta 8 products. Maybe enjoy UFC 300 this weekend with a nice pen, maybe some gel, maybe some edibles, have some fun, Use code SOUNDOFF, all caps, at ELYXR.com, 10% off. Once again, Rogue Energy and ELYXR, code SOUNDOFF. Well, before we break into UFC 300, we got UFC Vegas 90 to go over. In the main event, man, Brendan Allen avenges his loss to Chris Curtis via split decision. Some people thought the Action Man won. Admittedly, I did. I thought our boy Chris, friend of the pod, Chris Curtis, I thought he deserved the nod. At the end, though, it was a solid win, incredible fight, an early fight of the year contender as well. We're still here in early April. What'd you make of the fight, man?
I thought it was a good bout. Didn't ended in some controversy. I wouldn't say it ended in controversy, but the controversy came afterwards through the interwebs of Twitter. A lot of going for. I don't think people were crying robbery, but they weren't happy with the decision. Could you agree on that? I don't think people were necessarily crying robbery, but they were upset about the decision, if anything.
I mean, outside of Sean Strickland, yeah.
Well, yeah, that too,
yeah,
right?
I mean, it's funny. As Chris Curtis has had a couple fights now where he's kind of like complained about like the way they've gone, and I thought he had a really good case to bitch here, and he did. I'll give him props. I thought most people thought Brendan Allen deserved the win, but I didn't see anybody crying robbery, which was nice.
I think we should paint the picture here, though, Josh, because this is kind of a sad situation for Chris Curtis. Because one, he comes in on short notice. Two, he doesn't get the decision, and there's a precedent, for him to get that. On top of that, he is 36, going on 37, or it might already be 37. I could be wrong there. He suffered an injury.
He tore his hamstring.
Yeah,
6 months out.
He lost to a guy who was ranked above him, and he's ranked 13th, so this might push him out. I don't know. Actually, can you pull the rankings up, see where he's at now? He's in a very shitty situation after losing this one. Because if he would have won this, beating number 7, him being 13, because I want to say Brendan Allen was 7 at the time. I could be incorrect.
He was 6. Yeah, he was 6, actually.
He was actually 6. Okay. And luckily for Chris, we're looking at it now, his ranking didn't change.
No, neither guys did, actually. So, interesting.
And well, I think they probably still want to make Vittori Allen at some point, which I think is still a good choice to go that route. That, or I don't know, he's deserving of some level of hard matchup anyways, I still think. Because he still got through, he still ended up getting this one. I mean, the result on the paper is not going to change. But yeah, I mean, just to paint the picture there for everybody, like Chris Curtis is in a tough situation going forward, and he's going to have a hard time rebuilding. He'll probably be out for quite some time. Any kind of estimate on the injury recovery time, Josh, or is that kind of...
So the story was it was a torn hamstring. We didn't know for like a couple days there if he was going to require surgery or not. If he was going to require surgery, it's going to be 6 months. If he was not going to require surgery, it's going to be more like 4. It's going to need surgery. It's going to be out for 6 to 7 months from what I've read.
So this year's chalked for him.
Basically. If he's lucky, he'll come back in like December.
But even then, that'd be
back.
Yeah, and then fight camp preparation, all of that,
which is shitty. I mean,
so we'll be seeing him early to mid 2025, most likely.
I mean, he took the gamble of stepping up here on short notice, and he gave the war, And like I said, I personally thought he deserved the nod, but it was razor close. I mean, I didn't have any issue with anybody saying that Allen deserved the win. But look, man, he stepped up on short notice. He took the gamble, and it went about as poorly as it possibly could. I mean, in terms of like a fight, it was super close, but didn't win. He was going to be out for maybe a year. I mean, who knows? It did not work out well for Chris Curtis, the Action Man.
Especially because this division is going to be moving. I mean, a lot of these guys are booked. Robert Whitaker, I think. Well, yeah, already booked. Chimaev booked. Ingram Akira booked. Fluffy Hernandez booked. Probably gonna rebook Alan Vittoria at this
Yep.
point. We imagine Izzy Dricus on the potential
On
horizon.
the come up. Sean Strickland choosing to stay out of action right now. Rejected the fight with Paulo. Said he's, said, no, I mean, it's serious. He's out of action.
But they told him he wouldn't pay him a lot, and he said, "Tell me how much they would pay him." And Josh, it was a lot less than you would think a former champ would make.
No, it was actually about what I expected.
Well,
Yeah.
Outside looking in, probably.
Yeah.
But it was I think from the scene, probably just about 100K.
Yeah, which is incredibly shitty.
Show and win. So,
which is incredibly shitty. But I mean, it's unsurprising. And then honestly, I'm not gonna be the one to. I gotta. I mean, after this is just a quick aside before we break into the fights.
Man, Josh,
I don't really give a fuck about talking about fighter anymore. after that lawsuit, when they got to the 1 yard line and decided to fucking pump the ball, they I don't really care, Not I do care, but like, I mean, it is what it is, They could have gone for the jugular. Instead, they went ahead and took the knee, So
they bent the knee to Triple C.
They bent the knee to Big Daddy Dana. That's what they did, dude. They were like, "Hey, buddy, we know we can go ahead and get billions of dollars, but we're gonna settle for $300 million, half of which is gonna go to our fucking lawyer fees." Damn. So yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I feel bad for Sean, but I mean, he probably should have renegotiated his deal when he became champion. But
Oof,
it is what it is. Co-main event, man. Damon Jackson defeats Alexander Hernandez. We had fucking Stevie Wonder at the
30-27 Hernandez.
30-27 Hernandez
might be one of the most insane scorecards all year, probably in the last few years, if anything.
It's up there with Marlon Vera, 48-47 over Corey Sandhagen.
I mean, don't get me started on that 10-8 Grosso round they gave her last year.
Dude, you know what? Did you hear about how like one judge told? I think they told Grosso like they scored the wrong round, and then like they scored like the wrong round for her. So then somebody believes they compensated and gave her that 10-8 in round 5 or some shit. So that's how it came out to like. So like some judge like fucked up, but I don't know if that's official or not. But anyways,
it sounds like straight stupidity. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, I mean, it's MMA judging, bro. I mean, these guys don't get paid anything, so I'm not surprised. They don't really care. Anyways, Damon Jackson, good win. I don't have too much to really add here.
Yeah, no, I mean it was let down for Anthony Alexander Hernandez. Alexander the Great. No longer the Great, right? What's he going by now? The Bear? The Gorilla? Some shit like that? The Ape?
I think it's the Ape.
I wasn't that far off. I don't know. Yeah, hopefully he can. I don't know, dude. We keep saying hopefully at some point he can bounce back, but there hasn't been a sign of that yet, and I don't think it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. I think this one kind of put the nail in the coffin for me, at least going forward. I mean, what is he, 30, 31, 32? Somewhere around?
31 years old, and this is 4th loss of his last 5. His only win was a short notice whenever Jim Miller stepped up on short notice.
At short notice against Jim Miller last year.
Yeah. And then before that, he beat Mike Breeden, no longer in the UFC. Chris Gritzmacher, which is a good win. That was a good win.
A solid win.
Trinaldo, but I mean, that's going back to 2019. I mean, the last
it's a long time.
The last 4 years, he has 3 wins. One guy not in the UFC, one old as shit Jim Miller, who stepped up on like a week's notice.
Still hyper competitive though, so we'll give him credit.
And it was a banger. So I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, look, man, I don't want to call it quits on Alexander Hernandez, but it's like as far as like a top 15 guy, I think those days are probably over unless something dramatically changes. Mm-hmm. But it is what it is, man. I mean, in regards to the rest of this card, I mean, Jose Mariscal picked up a split decision win. What'd you make about that one, dude? That was
dude. I was happy about that one. Yeah. I picked Chapo Mariscal to win that one.
Yeah.
Highlight of the night, though. You're looking it over there, Josh. Ignacio Bahamondes. La Jaula Bahamondes, the cage.
Oh,
gets it done. And look, credit to him. Once again, this was a middle of Friday. I said it reminisced kind of what they did with Zellhuber. Because I think Zellhuber also fought Christios Gallegos. What a name. It really it looks like it should be Christian Gallegos or Gallegos, but it's what is it? Christos Gallegos. Yeah. But yeah, that was a sick highlight. He was very happy about that. By the way, I don't know if you paid a lot of attention. Bahamondes looking a little bit more fuller, not as skinny as before. I don't know if I think no matter what, at some point down the line, he'll probably have to make a weight change to 170. He's a tall kid, and you can tell like he's packing on that muscle, that weight now that he's growing into his adult body more. That's pretty awesome to see, man. He's a guy that I just from the moment I saw him on Contender, and then his day, coming into UFC and having those up and downs, and now kind of seemingly getting comfortable. I hope that he's able to like continue to evolve this game because he's a really fun guy. One of the few Chilean fighters I think ever to be in the UFC. One of the few Chilean fighters currently, I think maybe even the only Chilean fighter on the roster. So that's always it's nice to have that sort of representation for that country.
Diversity.
Diversity.
Yeah. Charlie Kimball picking up a win over Trevor Peak. I mean, Trevor Peak lost that one. They actually re-signed him afterwards. Pretty rare to see them re-sign a guy coming off a loss, but they decided to go ahead.
He puts on some pretty decent fights. You know, he comes out of fight.
He's very entertaining. Dana likes him. You know, it's one of those things. Alex Morono defeating Court McGee in the Battle of Old Fucks.
Dude, knocked down Court McGee. Hurt Court McGee multiple times.
Yeah, but you know what? Court's got that fucking dog in him, man. You know?
Is Court McGee DTF Fighter of the Week, you think? We haven't given that award away in a while.
We haven't given that one away, but you know what? No, I got to give that one to Cesar Almeida, dude. I got to give that one to DTF Cesar Almeida. That fight was not through one round. Like, you're watching it, and you're like, oh, man, this guy's going to struggle with some wrestlers. You know, Dylan Butcher kind of putting it on him a little bit, getting him in the clinch. Dude, it just took him like one exchange for him to just put his lights out, you know? Landed a fucking devastating shot to the body. It was a beautiful win by him. But yeah, sure, we'll give it to Court McGee. I love the old man, you know? You know who's not the DTF Fighter of the Week? Norma Dumont. Picked up the win over Jermaine Durand, excuse me. I saw she landed a combined like 4 strikes in the 2 rounds.
You know what's crazy though? But I thought this fight was gonna go like this. Like pretty much the way it played out, I thought it was gonna go this way.
No, I did not see that coming. I thought, Norma, she made the weight. We'll give full credit there. She's continuing her winning streak, continues to move over to 135 like rankings. I wasn't that impressed with the win though. Do
you have any hope for GDR after this though? Because it was a really bad look.
She looked really. I still have hope though. She looked so rusty, dude. I mean, this is her first fight in almost 4 years. I believe she submitted Juliana Pena in like October of 2020. Double check. Yeah, October 4th, 2020.
Dang, it's been that long.
Yeah. And then,
a little under 4 years.
Yeah, a little under 4 years. I mean, dude, 4 years off and you had a kid in the meantime. I'm not going to write her off. In this division, let's be honest here, it's fucking terrible. So,
I mean, she's a new parent too.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at, dude, we can just go ahead and take a look at the quick rankings here for women's bantamweight.
Shit, GDR might still be ranked.
Yeah, they put her at 14, dude. I think, dude, you tell me she doesn't beat Chelsea Chandler?
Norma at 9. I wonder if they'll like match her up more going forward. Like they'll give her other fights.
Yeah, dude. I'd like to see. You know what I like Norma Dumont versus the loser of Actually, never mind. I'm not gonna say that. I don't like that.
You know who we haven't seen in forever. Looking at these rankings right now, we haven't seen Aldana in forever.
We have not. I'm curious what the story is with her.
Was her last fight the one again? No, she had a fight after that.
She did.
She had a fight after Amanda. She won it. Carol Hossa, yeah.
She beat her. So December.
And that was a banger. It was a banger, right? That was a sleeper fight. I don't even know if we mentioned that one during the Soundoff Awards.
I don't think we did, but that one was a really good one.
If I remember right, that was a banger.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, I'm not gonna write off GDR, dude. You tell me she doesn't beat Julia Avila, who I like. I like the Raging Panda, but you know,
the Raging Panda.
I believe that's her name or whatever. But I mean, I like her. But I mean,
I like Julia Avila.
She got mollywopped by a 40-year-old Misha Tate, dude. That wasn't close for a second. So I don't know. Yeah, Jermaine will come back. I'm not that worried about it. But yeah, man. I mean, any other fights you want to go and shout out on this card? I mean, Gene Matsumoto got a nice win
over Dan Aguirre. Wait. By the way, you fucking ESPN fucked up.
Really?
Tweeted out.
Oh, I did.
Dan Argueta wins by submission, beating Gene Matsumoto. We have that saved.
Yeah.
It actually, that's incorrect, guys. It was Gene Matsumoto submitting Dan Argueta for the victory. Gotta feel bad for Dan in that one. Last second taps. Oh man, I like Dan Argueta too, but I thought he was gonna be so much better.
Yeah, I mean that was pretty disappointing. I mean, I did see that thing, dude. Honestly, hilarious. I mean, shit, dude. At ESPN. I mean, I got.
What happened there?
Social media, bro. I mean, well, hey.
I don't know how long it was up because my Twitter hadn't refreshed yet, so that's why I could still see it. And I had to refresh my Twitter. Like I pulled up to refresh. Luckily, I noticed it, and I was like, wait, what? I clicked it, screenshotted it, and the post had been deleted. Luckily, I had enough time to grab it real quick.
Yeah, look, all I'm saying is that
you could be a way better media manager for ESPN MMA.
Look, I don't want to shit talk anybody at their job, but all I'm saying is I do that job for BJPenn.com, and I've never made that mistake.
Completely putting the wrong guy's name.
Yeah, I mean, other guys have made that mistake for us, but it wasn't me, you know? So.
Oh, you'd let them know, Josh.
No, I'm just saying. Anyways, man, this card was okay. We didn't live up to kind of the expectation. I mean, I thought this card was going to be way better than it ended up being. I mean, outside of the main event, it was okay, you know?
There were some good highlight finishes. It started off really strong, though. 3 finishes to start off the night. I can't even remember how that Victor Hugo Pedro Falcao fight went off the top of my head.
I can't either.
And then I do remember the Norma Dumont GGR fight because
how could you forget?
How could I forget? Obviously, I was excited for Walter Walker. We didn't even talk about it. Walter Walker, Josh, disappointing us. We talked about him. Did not fight like Johnny Walker, but we already knew that. Yeah. But he's young. He's 26. You know, jumping to UFC, heavyweight, a lot of pressure. It just didn't work out.
It is what it is. I mean, it's disappointing, but it is.
I think he's a project in work. Like, you give him a little bit of time. He only lost.
He didn't look terrible.
And he only lost 29-28. Like, give it some time. I think we could get there.
Yeah, he didn't look terrible. He didn't look great either. So it is what it is. But dude, I'm ready. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to move on to one of the biggest cards in UFC history. UFC 300 going down this Saturday night, man. Very excited for it. In the main event, we have Poatan Alex Pereira coming back here against the man who never lost the belt, Jamahal Sweet Dreams Hill. There's a great story. The UFC didn't really promote this well at all, in my opinion, but there's a great storyline here. You and I have talked about this off screen. You know, he beat Glover. They had that stare down. They had that mini kind of like where they're sizing each other up, you know?
And it was joked about at the time, right? But we didn't know for a fact, like, we were going to get here eventually, or if the stars were ever going to align that way. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of things still had to happen to get there. And at the time, we were still getting into the Izzy saga and dealing with the old Izzy situation still before we even got to that point. Because that fight happened
January of last year.
Yeah, and then a few months later, then Pereira fought Izzy and lost, right?
Yeah, then moved up to, which, by the way, I mean, Alex Pereira, active as fuck. You got to give the man credit. I mean, coming in here.
We doesn't have a lot of time either.
No.
But granted, he is fighting up in the weight classes where, like, age seems to kind of work or function a little differently.
I mean, yeah. I mean, light heavyweight and heavyweight. If you're going to be an old dude, which I believe he's 36.
Going on 37 this year.
Not an old dude, but kind of, you know, a little bit old for MMA. Dude, and you want the craziest status? This is going to be his 5th fight in a row where he is facing either a former or current UFC champion.
Well, we see it now, Josh. Sean Strickland, now former champ.
Strickland.
Adesanya, former champ. 2 fights with him.
Yeah.
Blachowicz, former champ.
Man who Izzy couldn't beat, by the way.
Yep.
And beats Yuri.
Yuri, former champ. And we'll be fighting Jamahal Hill.
Another former champ.
Or current champ, however you want to look at it.
I mean, the man never lost the belt, you know? So you can definitely, you know, he has some piece of the lineage, you know?
Yeah.
So, look, dude, I am, as time's gone on, I've become more excited for this fight.
Oh, yeah.
But, I don't know about you, man.
It's deserving of a main event.
It's a good main
Is it 300? I don't know. I don't want to say it isn't.
Probably not. But at the same time, it's like, I think it's one of those things too. Like if you took the names away, and I also think if Jamahal Hill if he's not rushing back from injury and he had not torn his Achilles and he didn't have like the weird scenario with Glover where he got the title shot where it wasn't necessarily deserving and he was like ranked 9 or something at the time because of all the weird shit happening at 205. I think if you took the names away, people would be more excited.
Do you think this would be different if this was Pereira Izzy at 205?
Oh, fuck.
As a UFC 300 main event.
Dude, I mean. Well, yeah, 100%.
I mean, I just had to put it out there.
Well, I think whenever that third fight happens, it's going to be one of the biggest fights in MMA history.
Well, they have a lot of history in general.
I mean, what is it? 4 fights combined now, you know, through kickboxing and MMA.
2 in MMA, a trilogy on the verge.
Trilogy in MMA, you know, and they both have wins. And, you know, and even then, it's like, I remember at the time, everybody's like, oh, you know, Izzy's never beat him. I'm like, man, did you guys watch that first kickboxing fight? He kind of did beat him.
Did you guys watch that first MMA fight? How it was going?
Yeah, exactly. These guys are so competitive, but that's besides the point. In regards to competitiveness in this fight, dude, I mean, the big question for me is Jamahal Hill rushing back. I mean, he tore his Achilles 8 months.
And he's talking about a lot about stand-up, wanting to keep this fight on the feet. Doesn't talk about going to the ground a lot.
Yeah, I think if this were Jamahal Hill in like a normal circumstance, I think I'd have a much. I'd consider this a little. Just to spoil a little bit, I'm picking Poatan, and I don't think that's that surprising. I think most people are. He's a decently sized favorite, like a minus 165 last time I saw. But dude, I mean, Jamahal coming back 8 months after tearing an Achilles, that's the type of thing you need like a year for minimum, typically. But he admitted it. He's like, you know what? I was eyeing 301, 302, but they threw a lot of money at me, so can't tell him no, you know. So he's back, dude. I mean, do you think that's something to kind of keep an eye on Saturday?
I think it was a factor no matter what, you know?
Yeah.
You know, regardless of what fighter it was or who it would be, what weight class or whatever. And it's been a while since he's just been in the cage and fought. Like, how long has it been since he actually fought? Like, what was his last fight date?
It was Glover, and it was January of 2023. So he's been out for, 14 months?
Over a year.
Yeah.
Over a year, no cage time, recovering.
Coming off injury.
coming off injury, just training. I mean, that's a tough sell. But granted, though, and if he wasn't talking about like doing all this and that and keeping it on the feet, but at the same time, it could be all facade, right? Like he could just be saying that, selling it, and then fight of doing a lot of clinch work, maybe taking it to the ground or whatever. At the same time, the one nice thing about, and it's crazy for Alex Pereira, it's like the one thing he only has to worry about developing is working in those clinch exchanges, getting up, not getting submitted. And we've seen that is definitely happening. Like that evolution is coming into his game. The thing is, I do think no matter what, though, if he does face like that really hardcore, heavy wrestler, which there isn't that many at these weight classes up higher, he will certainly get into trouble. Like we had a guy like DC around at 205. I don't know if he would beat, like, let's just say exactly who Daniel Cormier is, all his accolades and all that, put that into a fighter now. If that was him, X fighter, and that person fought Alex Pereira today, I'm not sure Alex Pereira would beat that archetype of fighter today, in my opinion.
No, I agree with you.
I mean, he could knock him out. We've seen it time and time again, right? He has that ability. But I mean, to kind of finally give my pick, Josh. We haven't even said this, Josh. This would be a special edition of the podcast. We will be picking every single fight. We haven't done that in quite some time.
I can't remember the last time.
I think in the original first episodes we used to do it, but because I was still getting into the sport, trying to learn about all these fighters in this history, it was kind of hard, and we realized that the dynamic of the fight, or the dynamic of the pod, didn't benefit from it at the time. I feel like if we did that now, we could definitely function for the most part. But this one is deserving of every single fight being talked about, and we're going to discuss every single fight going forward.
Hell yeah, man! And I'm assuming that you're on the same page with me.
I think I'm going Peloton. By the way, what do you think? Knockout decision?
Yeah, I think he's gonna knock him.
I think this fight ends in a knockout no matter what, whoever it is.
100%. I mean, look, we haven't really seen Jamahal Hill rock in the UFC. The one loss, obviously, to Paul Craig, where he snapped his arm. And by the way, I mean, Jamahal Hill's a dog. I mean,
he still wanted to fight.
He still wanted to fight. I mean, did you see him fucking when he was sitting in the cage afterwards? He was waiting for the fucking bus, dude. He didn't really give a fuck.
Just holding his arm.
Just holding his arm. Just like, dude's a dog, and coming in here. Well, I mean, I guess we forgot to mention one thing. I mean, he actually got a TKO win in December. I mean, so coming in here, not entirely out. Anyway.
You're gonna get in trouble, bro.
Nah, it'll be all right. Probably not, actually, but hopefully he doesn't see me. But anyways, yeah, I mean, taking Poatan probably by finish, man. I think the fact that he's coming in here also with the Achilles, dude. There are a few better leg kickers than Poatan, too.
That's the other thing, right?
He is gonna target that thing like fucking nothing. It's just crazy. But anyways, we're gonna preview every fight. Going one down. Zhang Weili, Yan Xiaonan.
China number one, guys.
China number one. I don't know why they didn't put this fight in China. It seemed like that made a lot of sense. But I mean, hey, you need a title fight for UFC 300, another one. So this is what we're getting. No disrespect to Yan Xiaonan. No disrespect. She's coming in. I believe her last fight was that knockout win where she just blasted Jessica Andrade.
Yeah,
that was
first finish in the UFC.
Yeah, nearly a year ago. I think Zhang Weili's probably. I think she's gonna go out there and probably dominate the fight.
I mean, she looks like an all-time great.
She is. I mean, I don't see anybody right now at 115 that's gonna really challenge her too much. You know what I mean? I think she's gonna go out there and dominate. And no disrespect to Yan Xiaonan. I mean, she's had a great rise. I thought she deserved a title shot years ago, and she kind of struggled a bit, and they just kept on throwing her girls. I think she's gonna get destroyed though on Saturday. What do you think?
I think that is a possibility. But granted, though, people can arise the moments. People can level up. People can show a new layer. And there's a lot of time to prepare. Weili has a lot of footage out there. But at the same time, I think the other thing is Weili has evolved. She's ever evolving. I'll give her credit. I feel like out of all the female champs, I've seen her fight to fight, improve in some capacity or get better. I don't think in history, and it's for a number of reasons, you've seen many female fighters improve areas of their game like she has. Like, if you really break it down, Josh, like, how many gals have you seen have a weakness and evolve it and do it better in the next fight, or use it? Because she out-grappled Esparza, submitted Esparza, right? If I remember right.
Correct, yeah.
Which is, like, crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
that doesn't get enough credit.
Which, by the way, dude, if you want to see how this fight's going to go, and granted, this fight was, 2 years ago, I believe, at this point, go back and watch Jon Jones versus Carla Esparza. Watch that fight. Just see what happens. And look, I like Carla. I picked Carla to beat Rose. So I'll say, only person on earth. Granted, it was the worst fight of all time, but still, so, dude, Carla went through her like fucking butter on the ground. And it's like, dude, I don't like to compare fights to fight. You know what I mean? Like, just fighter math or whatever. But dude, you cannot watch Carlos Barza go through Jan Chonon, scarred like butter, and then think like Weili's just gonna,
Yeah.
And also, dude, like you mentioned, Weili is improving vastly, fight to fight to fight. She came to the UFC as a striker, man. She knocked out Andrade. She came in, put on that epic fight with Joanna, 2 epic fights with Joanna on the feet. But the last few fights, she's been going to the mat. She trained with Triple C for a bit, granted, not anymore, but she stayed there for a couple fight camps. You can see her development. I think she's gonna take Jan Jones on and beat the piss out of her on the ground. Honestly. I'm gonna go probably Weili. Even
I could see a sub or a TKO on the ground.
I really could. I'm thinking Weili probably by TKO. I would not be surprised to see Jan make it to the scorecards because you can kind of see in Weili's last fight against Amanda Lemos where she beat her up, but she wasn't looking to pass. She wasn't going for a whole lot. She was kind of content. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To just secure the win. So maybe that could happen here, but I think regardless, we're looking at a Magnum John.
Also, she got to feel those 5 rounds through grappling because she's felt those 5 rounds through stand up, and that crazy stand up Joanna fight, one of my favorite fights of all time.
Yeah, one of the greatest.
Always got to highlight it. But you're not wrong. I do imagine she'll take her down, and finish it on the ground, especially because like that's where Jan Shannon's difficulties have come from. Granted, though, Josh, we don't know. There could be some level up. There could be some changes there. There could be some improvements. And they could be preparing for that. I'm assuming they're preparing for that at max capacity. I feel like both these girls' camps probably game plan very well.
That's my expectation as well. But at the same time, man, I just think skill for skill. I think Jan.
I feel like Zhang has a good lead above her, but I think Jan. I think Jan.
Maybe she could catch her. I mean, she knocked out just Andrade.
I feel like she could surprise us. But I'm not. I wouldn't bet money on it.
Yeah, I mean, the only person I just even looking forward, dude. After this fight, the only person I could see competing with Zhang is probably Tatiana Suarez, and even that's a big question mark because of all the injuries.
Yeah, a lot of other questions to that too.
Yeah.
Also, Weili's improving her grappling.
Exactly. And Weili's improving fight to fight. And I think the important thing to remember here is that she's been champion for a while. She's still only 34 years old.
That's crazy.
And in women's MMA, just from the little decade or so that we've seen in women's MMA kind of being at like the top level, they have more longevity than the men.
Yeah.
Like Holly on this card, she's like 42 now or something. So
yeah.
Regardless, man, we're both on the same page there. The people's main event, in my opinion, the people's main event.
I mean, yeah, it feels like that, doesn't it?
The BMF title is on whatever the fuck that means. The BMF title is on the line. Justin, the Highlight Gaethje, won it last July, knocking out Dustin Poirier, avenging his loss from 2018. Facing the rising Max Holloway, the former champ. Blessed coming in here on a 2-5 winning streak, knocked out the Korean Zombie. Prior to that, he beat Arnold Allen in the greatest city on earth, Kansas City.
The pride of Hawaii.
The pride of Hawaii.
Ohana means family.
Damn straight, brother. Coming in.
If you guys can't tell it, we're Max fans.
We are Max. Dude, I mean, we got
Is it back there?
See it. Yeah, I don't know if you guys see it. Like whenever Max came to Kansas City for an Invicta event.
It's a little trolly, right? Because like literally my Twitter profile picture is the one with Max all the way from a few years back.
In mine, we used to be that too, but I was like, oh, that's a little bit of favoritism. I should go ahead and take that
from
off.
like 4 years ago, though.
So yeah, but yeah. Anyways, man, I mean, Max coming in here on a 2-fight winning streak. We've only seen him at lightweight one time in the UFC, which is a loss to Dustin Poirier,
but
a fight of the year contender. So it's not like he got blown out of there. Some people, I'm sure you guys have seen the same thing as I have. Some people are just writing Max off. They're like, oh, did you see that fight with Dustin where he got destroyed? It's like, you guys.
I think at the time I thought Max won it. That's some crazy shit.
Yeah. Well, people forget how close the scorecards were. That's all I'm saying, dude. That's all I'm saying. I remember thinking at the time Max had a case for winning it, but regardless, dude, that's a completely different fight than facing Justin Gaethje.
Oh, yeah.
Gaethje is coming in here just destroying dudes. I mean, to knock out Dustin Poirier, one of the most durable guys of all time.
Get that one back, actually, too.
Yeah, not an easy thing to do. And look, man, blessed. He's going to have it cut out for himself. So what do you make of this one?
I mean, we talked about this several months ago when it got announced, Josh, because I had some pretty strong opinions about this fight because, one, it's so exciting, the quality of fighters on both sides. I mean, we have the human highlight versus one of the most loved guys in the whole sport, you couldn't bring two guys that people like a lot at a better time, especially for such a big event. I mean, they could arguably been the main event in some capacity, I think. It would have been hard because they're not fighting for an actual title, which is the issue. There's a lot of stuff that freaks me out about this fight, though, Josh, going forward. I mean, for me, I feel like this fight could cause life-changing damage to both guys because they already have taken plenty of that. But, I mean, coming out of this one, If one of these two guys were to be knocked out and then followed up with another knockout loss, that could be, in my opinion, a catastrophic fall for either one or both.
And also, let's also go ahead and say this: they're both getting into their mid-30s, kind of around that area.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense.
Get you, I think, 2 years older, maybe.
I'll pull it up right
Maybe
now.
get you 2 years older. I think he's older than Max for a fact. I think he's 35.
The highlight is 35, going to turn 36 in November.
33 on Max's end.
Is 32, but let's be honest here. He's like, he's
in fight years.
In fight years, he's like fucking 50 or some shit.
Hey, yo, but he's killing it.
He's still killing it. Yeah, he's looking better than. I mean, that Korean Zombie fight, he looked better than that.
Another thing we talk about that 155 fight with Dustin, you didn't mention, like Max wasn't like fully settling into 155. Like he cut the weight down to 155, but he didn't add that mass and then go to 155. This time around, Max is making it sound like he was taking that extra preparation, adding on a little muscle. He's going to cut down to 155. And I'm curious to see, how is that weight cut going to be now at 155? Is he going to have a little bit more pop? You know, is the cardio going to be affected at all? Because Max, great cardio, great output. That's what you know Max Holloway for. Not necessarily a power puncher, but you know, if it lands right, he could definitely deliver it. We saw that, but at the same time, you know, TKZ, older, chin had been touched,
and also he ended that fight thinking like, I'm either gonna knock out Max or I'm going out on my fucking shield.
Yeah, and that's another thing to it. But now, who knows? Maybe that added weight could definitely benefit Max, and maybe there's a little bit more pop to the punch there. For Justin, the leg kicks, Max definitely struggled with that in the past, and in his fights with Volk, a big highlight. I'm sure they're gonna be looking at a lot of Volk footage in those fights. Yeah. If anything, I think Max has his work cut out for him. I think he's definitely has a harder time studying.
He's gonna be working from behind in this one. I really feel like,
because what are Dustin's losses in the UFC? Justin and Oliveira,
Connor,
Habib. No, I'm talking about Justin.
Oh, I thought you said Dustin. My bad.
Justin. So Oliveira, Habib, Dustin, right?
I believe that's it. Yep.
Is there a sneaky Michael Johnson in there?
Eddie Alvarez, the Underground King.
My bad. And those fights were all lost in, like, I want to say, like, for the most part, like very different ways.
Yes.
So, and I don't know if Max is gonna be able to replicate anything of what those guys specifically did. And it's 5 rounds. I'm not gonna lie, Josh. I know where my heart's at, but I know where my brain's at. I'm gonna go Justin Gaethje. But you know, secretly, I'm always gonna be rooting for the best. The best is blessed.
Yeah, and both these guys rule, dude. I mean, and you know, I'm not gonna have an issue.
You'll be, you know something. I think if you're a fan of the sport, you'll be happy with either guy winning, but you'll be heartbroken no matter what for seeing the other one lose.
That's a good way to put it. You're gonna feel some mixed emotions no matter what. I'm happy you brought up the fact that Max is building himself up for this one. Something a lot of people will forget is whenever Max fought Dustin Poirier, that fight was not supposed to happen. From what I remember, they wanted Habib Tony. Habib couldn't do the date. Go figure, right? And then Tony said no because he didn't want to fight anybody. So then they slided in Max, who came in on they announced that fight with like a month and a half notice. They had 2 interim title fights on that card. Only time I've really done that. It was Izzy and Gastelum on the undercard.
Bangers.
The greatest 2 fight card of all time. I looked at that card yesterday. Fucking nothing else. Like Eric Anders is like in the 3rd fight below that. Just to give you perspective. But Max came in on short notice for that one. Both guys kind of did. And you could see that it was just either 145 or not cutting weight. This time, he's had like 3-4 months to build up. You could see in just the footage and his training, he's bigger now.
In his face, too.
Exactly. I want to take Max Holloway for the upset.
I thought about it, too.
I really want to. But I got to go Justin Gaethje. He's a more proven man at the weight class. The leg kicks are going to be huge, massive.
2-time lightweight challenge, title challenger at lightweight.
Exactly. Former interim champion, currently the BMF champion. So yeah, I'm gonna go and take Justin Gaethje, dude.
The human highlight reel.
Max Holloway is working from behind in this one.
I think so. Yeah.
I think maybe down the I think regardless of how this fight goes, I think Justin Gaethje is gonna kick the shit out of Max Holloway in the early aspects. I could see Max making a comeback in maybe the championship rounds because it is 5 rounds, but dude, those first 2-3 rounds are gonna be brutal.
I think the hardest. Yeah, I agree with you. I think the hardest rounds will be the first initial rounds for Max. He's gonna have growing pains. Justin doesn't have has a pretty good gas tank, but I think
nobody's better than Max.
But I think if Max can set a pace in those later rounds, and if there's a little bit more power behind those shots, and with the output he could definitely present, I think it could get interesting.
Yeah, I'm actually I didn't tell you this. I'm gonna throw a 10er on Max by knockout just for fuck it. You know.
I think, dude, if we got like I think the craziest result in this fight for me would be a Max Holloway striking master class against Gaethje.
Yeah. He's the best boxer in the UFC though. I mean,
I know, but still, I still would be surprised because of the punishment that could come back the other way.
I'm just messing around. Yeah, I agree with you. That being said, dude, another lightweight fight. We gotta, dude. Lightweight is fucking stacked right now. I mean, maybe Dustin's gonna get the title shot, but it looks like they're waiting to see how UFC 300 goes. There are 5 guys you can make a case for getting a title shot, which just shows you that
which is great. That's what you want in a division.
It's a good thing, but also a bad thing because it shows you that these guys are just racking up Islam fights once a year, you know. So it's just kind of a bad thing. But at the same time, I mean, I guess he fought twice.
We know what's crazy? What I heard someone say, they're like, arguably, Dustin Poirier, not even arguably, fact, for a fact, Dustin Poirier has a better resume than Islam Makhachev.
Well, he does. He does. I mean, I'm not trying to shit on Islam, but I mean, he got a title shot off Bobby Green. You know what I mean?
Dan Hooker, Bobby Green.
Dan Hooker came in on a week's notice, and Bobby Green came in on a week's notice. And no disrespect to those guys, but
shout out them for trying.
The reason why Islam got the title shot is for twofold. Everybody knew how good he was. It's just that he wasn't getting the matchups, and for whatever reason, he would fall out of a fight, or maybe his opponent would fall out of a fight. A lot of weird stuff.
I think his last 3 fights leading up to the title were Thiago Moises, Dan Hooker, Bobby Green.
So
Thiago Moises gave him a good, decent little run. Yeah. Give him credit.
So no, that's no disrespect to Islam. It's just on the way up, he didn't fight the guys, but then once he got there, you're like, okay, yeah, he is what we thought he is. You know what I mean?
Fought Oliveira, fought Volk, had trouble with Volk.
Exactly, and we'll see how it goes. But also the Habib connection. You know what I mean? They really want to build in that region and keep on maintaining that. So, anyways, Charles Oliveira, Du Bronx. The Oliveira era restarted last year with a knockout win over Benil Dariush, facing Arman Tsarukyan, another guy that I've hyped up for a long time, ever since his debut, whenever he did lose to Islam. But he actually gave Islam one of his toughest fights in UFC to this point. We know the deal with Arman, man. Also knocked out by poor Benil, man. Jesus Christ. Got murdered by both these guys. Regardless, though, man, winner here, obviously potentially in line for a title shot. What do you make of it? Arman coming here, by the way, a 2-1 favorite, which is
I think that's
shocking.
insane.
Yeah,
because I mean, Oliver is not even at this time even arguable one of the best lightweights to ever fight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he beat Gaethje, beat Dustin, beat Chandler, beat Dariush, and all the names before that I can't think of off the top of my head, but there's so many.
Miller twice. I mean,
yeah, and being doubted every single time.
Yeah, Kevin Lee.
13 fight win streak, right before we got broke. I mean, the guy is simply amazing, and his desire to want to get to that title again, Josh, even after he lost to Islam Makhachev, getting submitted himself and being like, I want that one back. There is something you got to fucking respect about that. Now, Arman, young, hungry, he believes in himself. He's shown that he could give in the past Islam a hard fight. Now, they bring up that Islam might have had staff at that time. His earlier in his career, but at the same time, Arman was younger, on short notice. Also Arman had some stuff he could, throw out there too. But he never brings any of that up. And I'm not saying Islam brings that up, but people around Islam bring that up. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. The thing is, right now, I think Oliveira is gonna pull through one more time on us and try to get to that title. He's gonna try to get that Islam fight one more time. I feel like he's not gonna retire without at least giving it one more good run at it, one more good nick at it, because he believes he can beat him. I love that he has that self-belief. He has a great camp. His family in Brazil, and when I'm not even referring to his little family, but I'm talking about the people who were around him. When he was cutting weight, you have that crazy picture of him being completely surrounded, and him in that in that towel.
Yeah,
I mean, dude, one of polarizing images out there in the whole sport. I think Arman's just he's young, he's cocky, what you love to see. But I think he might be in over his head a little bit, maybe looking past Oliveira, which a lot of people have done. A lot of people have done. Yeah. And once again, I think he's even talked about the narrative of Oliveira being a quitter. Once a quitter, always a quitter.
Yeah, I saw Gaethje. Somebody asked about this fight. We'll see. He's like, we're going to see Oliveira quit again. I'm like, man, do you ever learn? What do you like?
What did Oliveira do to you?
I have no idea, dude. But he fucking hates Oliveira.
Did he forget that? Did he forget that happened to him? I'm just saying.
Maybe. I wouldn't remember.
Isn't that kind of crazy? The last guy he lost to is on this card too. Just throwing it out there.
It's kind of crazy. Yeah. I'm in full agreement, and I think it's so funny that this fight is happening 1 month after we saw Benoit Saint Denis, who another guy who I hyped up for a long time coming in here. He's like a 2.5 to 1 favorite or Dustin Poirier. I'm like, did you guys watch these fucking fights? You guys watch the fights? You know what I mean? It's another fight, man. I think can Armand Sarukian win? Yes, there's a clean pathway to victory for him as well, right? But dude, Charles Dubronx Oliveira, dude, I'm not really sure why people think he's won. I mean, the guy has 1 loss in his last 14, maybe actually 15. Excuse me, Islam Makhachev.
Let him know, King. Let him know.
Yeah, only 1 in his last 15. Came in here, knocked up Anil, and like, look, I like Armand, but Armand's not proven at the top level. He's just not. He stepped up a couple different times. He faced Islam years ago, and he looked great. No disrespect, but outside of that, who else has he faced at the top level? Benil, who had gotten murked like 2 months before he fought.
Oliveira softened him up for him.
Well, you could definitely make the case. Who else did he face? I can't remember his name right
He had
now.
a close fight against Gamrot.
Gamrot, which I thought he won. He lost it though by decision. And then you look at the rest of the resume. It's got guys that are good. Joel Alvarez, Demiraz Imagulov, but guys that are not top level.
Guys that are good but not great.
Correct. This is another fight where, like, dude, they're pushing a guy straight to the top without facing some of the other guys, in the rankings.
I don't think he had a bad lead up though.
No. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is we haven't really seen him against the top 5 talent, not a guy like Charles Oliveira. And that's why I'm so surprised people are like, oh yeah, dude, Armand's gonna go in there and fucking fuck him up. 2 to 1 favorite, like, just like, I don't get it, man. I don't see it.
I think it's a good matchup regardless for Armand though. Like the right match, the fight he deserved now.
I can see it going either way, but I'm gonna go ahead and take Dubronx.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna go out there and pull off a win. I think he's gonna continue to shot.
Some Oliveira magic, right?
Oliveira magic.
The champion has a name.
Are you in agreement with me?
Oh yeah, dude.
Okay. All right. I just realized that we're united on the first 4 picks. So I believe last pay per view we disagreed on almost every single one. So
what was the last pay per view again?
That was $2.99. So that was Sean, Cheeto, Benoit, Poirier.
I think I only split on Benoit and Poirier.
I thought there was one more that we split on. Oh, Gilbert and JDM maybe. I can't remember.
No, I went JDM unless you went Gilbert.
All right, never mind. Forget it.
I won MVP. You won MVP.
But we're not going to disagree on any fight on this main card because we got Bo Nickel coming up, a minus 2,100 favorite against Cody Brundage.
Some boxing odds out there, bro.
Yeah. They just had to throw him on the main card. They couldn't help themselves. Cody Brundage is a good guy coming in here on a 2-fight winning streak. Former high school wrestler, collegiate wrestler. He's got some background, right? Picked up some nice wins in the cage. Does he have any shot against Bo Nickel?
I think he has a chance. One, people have looked. He has a wrestling foundation now. Granted, is it as good as Bo? No,
Not even close.
Not even close. But he knows how the fundamentals of how to wrestle, what to do to wrestle, right? At the same time, he's capable of knocking him out. He has that kind of power. So I don't think he should be overlooked. But without a doubt, though, Bo Nickel is still early in his career. There could be some growing pains. There could be some mistakes. Something could definitely go wrong still in Bo's fight. People are just. I think the reason why the odds are like that is purely hype. I imagine. Look, and I'm just gonna put it out. I think Bo is gonna win. Mm-hmm. But I think no matter what, guys, fight to fight, you need to take into consideration that this guy has 4 fights and maybe 8 minutes of cage time total.
Not a single fight has left the first round.
Yeah.
The closest one was Jamie Pickett. He went like 4 minutes, So
you see the potential. You see what it could become. But just be weary, fight to fight. I'm not sure. I don't think Cody Brundage is necessarily the fight you got to worry for Bo Nickel.
I agree with that. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that. But I will say that doesn't take away from Cody Brundage potentially having some. He could create some magic. I just don't think it's very likely. I don't think with the tools he has, he can necessarily stretch Bo Nickel out enough to make those things happen. But I will say, don't be shocked if Bo doesn't get Cody out of there quick in the first round.
That's the way I view it too. I mean, Bo Nickel, he's gonna run into a bad motherfucker eventually, and Cody Brundage is a very good dude. I mean, he has a good background. You mentioned wrestling background. He's a great finisher too. I mean, he's gotten multiple knock. I think like every win in the UFC he has by finish. So, granted, not a single top 15 guy in there. Not even. I think half the guys aren't even in the UFC anymore. So, take with that for what it's worth. And that's no disrespect to him. He did his job. But look, man. I mean, Bo Nickel all day here. I mean, the guy, you may not like his...
It's the Penn State show all the way.
Yeah, you may not like his personality. And did you see, or my buddy Alex Bahun, he did like his, where he asked the fighters like his favorite things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Bo Nichols was like the whitest shit of all time. I've never related less, And it's funny because look at me, but he was like play video games, don't play video games. Favorite drink, sparkling water. Like,
hey, I like sparkling water.
I mean, occasionally, it's like favorite band. It's like some country singer,
some Christian band.
Yes, exactly. And anyways, very funny. But shout out Bo Nickel. He's gonna clean up. I think so. And he is that good. He's that good. I complained about being on the main card just because I just don't like this matchup. If you're fighting a top 15 guy, fuck it, dude. Yeah, this guy's a future champion.
Or a big name in some capacity.
Yeah, he's a future champion, if not a top. I mean, bare minimum, I think top 10 guy. That's the floor for a talent like that. So, we'll see. Moving one down, Yuri Prohashka taking on Alexander Rakic. Dude, Alexander Rakic coming in here again a 2-1 favorite, man. Or damn near close to a 2-1 favorite. We've not seen him since he got hurt against Jan Blachowicz nearly 2 years ago at this point.
Wow.
May of 2022, he got hurt, suffered a knee injury, his ACL, I believe. So he tore it. He got hurt during training, I believe, and then he hurt it, like he tore it completely during the fight. So been a long time since we've seen him taking on Yuri. Obviously, we know last time we saw him was the knockout loss out to Pay. A little bit controversial. He said he's trying to get that rematch because it was an early stoppage. So we'll see, man. Look, I'm just gonna go ahead and come out and say it. I think Yuri's gonna go ahead and clean up here. I mean, the fact that he's Alexander Rakic, who I like a lot, you know what I mean? But I mean, 2 years out after a brutal knee injury against
hasn't been in the cage.
Yeah, and Yuri just fought, looked good. I thought he was winning that fight until he got caught. So.
I do, but I knew the moment he was opening up like that.
Yeah, it was only a matter of time.
Yeah. I was like, you can't do this, bro. You can't do this.
Yeah. But in regards to pick, I'm gonna guess.
Oh, I got to pick the Czech Samurai.
Yeah.
I mean, it's purely on the fact that Rakic has been out of action. It's been, like you said, 2 years coming off an injury. Yuri got in there recently. Granted, Yuri was also coming off an injury too.
That is correct. Yeah,
but didn't look bad, like you said. So I got faith in him getting it done here.
Mm-hmm. Same here. I think he's a good underdog pick. It's in the fight where I'm just like looking at the odds, I'm like, man, really? This fight is very compelling to me. This next one up, man.
One of the most interesting fights on the card.
There's so many X's and O's going into both these guys. I mean, Calvin Kattar coming back here. Another guy, long layoff, October 2022, knee injury against Arnold Allen. Prior to that, he lost to Josh Emmett by split decision. Prior to that, he fraud checked Giga Chikadze.
Oof.
I do think that was a fraud check moment.
By the way, that was great. Yeah, you're not wrong. I think that was. I can agree on that one.
So, anyways, coming in here, taking on Aljamain Sterling, the former 135-pound champion, most defenses in bantamweight history, which is kind of crazy to think about with only 3. But anyways, man, the Funk Master lost to Sean O'Malley last August.
The Sugar Show.
He wanted the rematch. He told him to fuck off, and he decided to move with the featherweight. And coming in here, man, very compelling fight. Calvin Kattar, obviously, we know the strategy for both these guys here. Calvin Kattar, the boxing, 36 years old, competent on the mat though. Never really gets the credit for it. I mean, only one submission loss in his entire MMA career. Aljamain Sterling, we know the strategy. He's gonna get that takedown. He's gonna get the body lock, and he's gonna go for the sub. What do you make of this one?
I'm excited, man. I mean, I'm curious to see how Aljo looks at 45, how comfortable he feels, how he carries that weight. But I think we know he's gonna do it right. I think we're pretty comfortable on that. Comes out of a good camp. I know they'll get him comfortable in there. I'm curious to see how long this 45 run's gonna go and how far he can actually make it. Mm-hmm. I think this is a perfect matchup for him, right? Because he's fighting a guy who's been removed out of action, but has shown capabilities in on the mat, right? Mm-hmm. Has good stand up, very good stand up, very dangerous on the feet. And that's all kind of stuff that is making this. It still makes the fight difficult, but not so hard where it's gonna get where a guy like Aljamain coming up and trying to transition will just get blown out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think it's like an even playing field for both, right?
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
Rather than just throwing Aljo straight to the top, without kind of getting led into the division. I'm gonna go Aljo, but very hesitantly though. I think Calvin Kattar is a very good sleeper pick here.
That's actually where I'm going. I'm actually going to go very bold here. And this is partly just because I kind of want to throw an underdog in there, because looking at the rest of it, there's actually a couple more underdogs I'll pick. But for the sake of argument, I'm going to go and go Calicator, dude. I think Aljamain Sterling, there's just a lot of unknowns. You know what I mean? And to get knocked out coming in here, new weight class, facing a really hard hitter, a guy that has maybe not great takedown even, but he's very competent on the mat. Never really gets the credit for it as well.
Good chin.
Excellent chin. You know what I mean? One of the toughest guys in the UFC. I think 15 minutes is a lot for Calicator to not land a Boston bomb. You know what I mean? So, remember John Anik? I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. I remember watching that at home in the COVID pandemic. It was the first card back. He lands an elbow against Jeremy Stevens, step in elbow. Beautiful. John Anik.
Beautiful finish.
Boston bomb! I'm like, no!
He caught him while he was running.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna go for sake of argument, just to split it. I'm gonna go Calicator, dude. But Aljo, full disclosure, I got him in the parlay. So just full.
He's like, let me just throw that out there.
Throwing out there. This fight is the one I'm not the most anticipated. That's not even close, but it's one of my most excited for.
You have a very high level of interest in this fight.
Damn straight, brother. Kayla Harrison. Former PFL two-time tournament winner, 16-1, former two-time Olympic gold medalist in judo. UFC history, by the way. First time a two-time gold medalist will ever be stepping into the cage for the UFC. Just something to keep an eye on. Yeah, man. And finally made the jump. Dawn Davis in the PFL. She wanted to leave for a long time. She was really going to go to Bellator for that fight with Chris Cyborg. Didn't end up working out. And then her contract came up again. She's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna make the risk. I'm gonna try and drop down to 135, facing the former champion Holly Holm, who has not competed since a submission loss to Mayra Buena Silva last summer, which is turned into a no contest due to failing a drug test on Mayra Buena Silva's side. Look, man, we know the case here. I've seen all the people comparing this fight to Ronda Rousey. We see all that stuff. Holly Holm is now 42 years old. The preacher's daughter doesn't look 42. And still, she's won, 3 of her last 5, So
she arguably could have won that Kayla Vieira fight.
I thought she did win that one, She's still at the top level of 135. If you pick her here, I would not be mad. What do you make of it?
I'm excited, man. Like you said, there's been some comparisons, right, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But I think, for one, Ronda and Kayla fight very differently. Granted, though, Kayla hasn't been allowed to use some of those tools in the PFL. And what I mean by those tools is elbows. There's no elbows in the PFL tournament. But we saw when Kayla got to Invicta, when she got her Invicta fight during COVID, when she was allowed to use elbows.
Oh, my God.
Man.
Yeah, look, dude. You guys may not... A lot of people don't like Kayla Harrison, but, dude, watch that fight if you have.
Yeah.
Just
pure violence.
Yeah, and that was 4 years ago at this point. Like, she's developed a lot since then. So that was early in her career.
Yeah, and on top of that, the other thing is this is the lowest Kayla Harrison will ever weigh in at in her entire professional MMA career as of now. The lowest she's ever gone is 45 on the scale. She will be going at 35. I'm sure she'll make the weight. I've been seeing videos of her. She's looking lean. She's leaning out. She looks good.
Too.
She's a professional. On the mic, off the mic, on the mat. She can talk. She can definitely talk if she wants to. She doesn't always necessarily do it, but she can definitely sell herself. And I hope she does, man, because I think she could be great for this sport and really do some great stuff here. For Holly, though, guys, I do think Holly's a sleeper pick here. Mm-hmm. I think Holly is going to be hard to take down. Obviously, we know her stand-up capabilities. And most of Kayla's takedowns aren't necessarily like double legs out in the open, nothing like that. They're mostly like in the clinch. Judo throws, stuff you would expect.
Yogashi, stuff like that.
Yeah. not a lot. And then when the fight does enter the ground, Kayla isn't necessarily like crazy transition and going for a lot of submissions. She doesn't. I wouldn't say she has like a very strong jiu-jitsu game. That's probably the way to say it. Correct. Definitely not bad because she could definitely avoid those submissions, and she can even throw up those submissions of her own. But you're definitely not going to be seeing Kayla Harrison going out there for heel hooks or anything like that. No. That's definitely not her game. No. Not going to try to be in the stand-up a lot either. Try to minimize that as little as she can. So I think there is a pathway to victory for Holly, but Holly's older now. Kayla's younger, hungry, wants to prove herself. And at the same time, for Kayla, how is she going to deal with the weight change? How is she's still going to have that kind of power she has all the time, that strength that she is a very strong girl, as far as like a lot of the across the sport, when it comes to female fighters, she has some of the best strength and conditioning out of any of them. Yeah. Pretty good gas tank. For me at this time, Josh, I'm going Kayla Harrison, but I think Holly Holm is a very strong sleeper pick on this card.
I agree with you. I could see Holly winning. I think, but I've always felt this way, man. And maybe I'll be wrong. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll be wrong. But I've always thought, like, man,
If Holly wins, do you think it's a fraud check moment? Depends how she wins.
it depends on how she wins. That depends on how she wins. If it's a close fight, then no. But if she goes out there and just Ronda Rousey's her, then yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, then it's a fraud check moment. But like I've thought this for a long time. I've always thought, like, man, say what you will, Kayla Harrison's competition. And I saw you showed me the JRE clip of I don't even know who it was. It was Dean Thomas, Matt Serra, and I can't remember who the fuck.
It's one of the coaches.
One of the coaches who was talking like, "Oh, Kayla Harrison's like shit in her last fight," and that's verbatim, you know. So, and it's like, I get it, right? But dude, I really think the gap between women in the UFC and outside the UFC is a lot fucking smaller than you guys think. I'll just tell you from covering so many women's fights in person. You know, and I've seen Kayla Harrison's entire career, and I saw people, you know, well, she lost to the Brazilian girl. You know what I mean? It's like, dude,
She's a dog.
Larissa Pacheco was a fucking dog, dude. Larissa Pacheco could be, dude, fucking. I can't wait to see that cyborg fight. She has a chance of winning. I don't give a fuck, you know. Larissa Pacheco is incredible, and you know, Kayla Harrison beat some good names. I think she's gonna win. I am in agreement with you though. Holly very hard to take down, especially along the fence, and that's where Kayla does her best work. So there's a very good possibility of Holly Holm pulling off the upset win. That doesn't mean Kayla Harrison's bad. She's still relatively young in her MMA journey.
Do you think this could set the pace for Kayla's career going forward in the UFC? How this fight or how she looks in this fight?
Oh yeah, I mean
because I mean she's fighting a former champ, guy with experience, great stand up, has developed a lot. Yeah. I mean, there's Holly Holm probably out of all the matchups she could have got is the best test
of her ability.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she could lose this one. I think we're going to learn, whatever happens, we're going to learn just how good Kayla Harrison is on Saturday night. That's what I think.
Oh, that was cold, Josh. That was a cold delivery right
whether
there.
That's good or bad, thank you. But whether that's good or bad, we're going to find out how fucking good she is.
Ice in his veins right there.
Yeah, dude. So we're going to find out. I'm going to take Kayla Harrison to get the win. We'll see. Yeah.
Does Kayla have a moniker, by the way? I just thought about that.
No, she does not.
Damn, she has to get one.
I think she might as well stick with, like, you know, the Olympian. I like that.
Gold.
I like that.
Kayla Gold Harrison. Oh, that's pretty good, right?
Anyways, man. This fight, fight of the night potential. Sadiq Youssef, Diego Lopez. We know the story for Diego Lopez. He's came to the UFC and he is very young in his journey. And yet, despite being that, he's already in the fucking game. You know, like he's.
This will be his 30th professional fight?
Correct. Put up an excellent war against Mozart Iloev. Back-to-back wins. Pat Sabatini, Gavin Tucker, both stoppage wins. Sadiq Youssef, much more seasoned as a professional, coming off a loss to Edson Barboza, fight of the night in October. Still 13-3, stellar record, some good wins in between.
But struggled against that next level, though.
Correct, man. What do you make of this one?
I'm excited. Like I said there, Sadiq, like I said, trouble at that next level. You know, losses, what was that? Edson Barboza, and who was the other one in there we saw a second ago?
I can go back real quick.
Arnold Allen.
Yeah.
You know. So, yeah. But at the same time, it's like he's been nothing away from breaking away. Diego Lopez, I mean, look, man, I turned my back on him after he lost at the Contender Series and then came in and had that performance against Mozart Iloev. But the thing is, though, I've seen Diego Lopez fight outside of the UFC. I'd seen multiple fights come outside of the UFC. Yeah. And I'd seen those moments where it was kind of like, you know, now I'm kind of like doubting myself. But since coming in, he's looked really good. I wonder if he just turned it up a notch and reached that next level. Another thing that we never bring up is he's a very active coach at the Entram gym. He's the jiu-jitsu coach. He's always in the you see all these Latin man fighters, primarily Mexican fighters, I should say, his corners. You see him there all the time because he's still actively training these guys. He's still actively out there trying to make people better on top of him competing himself. Maybe now that he's in the UFC, maybe he's taking a step back and maybe that took away from his fight game. And maybe that's why he did have some losses in Lux that I was kind of like, I'm not sure.
A little bit worrisome.
You know, I don't know if a lot of people in the UFC lose that fighter in the UFC, you know. But now that he's here, he's seemingly dialed it in, is getting those wins. And people are into him. We've seen it. Like there's a lot of people who have interest in Diego Lopez. And seemingly I myself have kind of like brought it back. Now, granted, Josh, I might be cursing Diego Lopez here. My continuous curse of not picking someone and then picking them and then they lose.
Happens all the time.
But I think Diego Lopez is going to get it done, man. He's going to break into those rankings.
I agree with you. Man, Sadiq Youssef, dog pick, massive dog pick. I would not be surprised to see him win. I'm gonna go Diego Lopez though. I'm on the hype train. Fuck it. I know I'm not the guy that likes to hop on hype trains when guys have had like losses before right before they get in the UFC. But dude, he's looked electric whenever he's finally in the octagon, and maybe it's just that X factor. Maybe he just needed it. Maybe he's one of those guys that just shines brightest under like the bright lights. You know what I mean? Like that's all he needed. So I'm gonna take him. I'm gonna take him to get the win, continue the hype going. But we'll see, man. And this is the early prelims, which is I mean, just to show you how good UFC 300 is, dude. Fucking these early prelims, incredible. Jalen Turner, Renato Moicano, man. Look, I mean, both guys riding win streak. Well, I guess Jalen Turner not riding win streak, coming off a knockout winner, Bobby Green, excuse me. Renato Moicano, he wants money. He's on this card. He's looking for a bonus. Won 2 in a row. Very fun fight. What do you make of it?
I love it, man. You know, who doesn't love Money Moicano, you know? Yeah. This fight kind of got thrown in there kind of last second, though, Josh. It was like one of the last fights that got announced, I believe so. So definitely that is kind of something to be kind of weary about when it comes to both of these guys. But like we say, these guys are professional. Moicano wants money. You know, he's always ready to go. So, you know, I'm not surprised he's here. As far as the fight itself, look, Moicano has won recently, Josh, but at the same time, those wins have been, you know, it's not easy. He's had to, you know, they've been kind of gruelers. He's had to eke them out. For Jalen Turner, he's just been a little short of those, you know, kind of victories that kind of would push him forward in this division. Well, can you actually click on his record? Obviously, we know that Dan Hooker won.
Yeah, we have the loss of Dan Hooker. We also have another one.
The Gamrot one, which he wasn't looking bad in initially.
That one, I believe that one was short notice for Gamrot too.
I think it was short for Turner. I think Turner.
Somebody was short notice. I know that.
One of the two. I can't remember who.
Yeah, he was replaced by Gamrot. Okay, Gamrot came in on short notice.
And he gave that performance, so, you know, credit to Gamrot out there. But dude, I mean, look at it there. Brock Weaver, not in the UFC. Josh Kulibao, all right guy, but he puts this in good work. Ursa Medic, strong striker. That's a good win. Jimmy Malarkey, a guy who had his ups and downs, but he's a guy who can definitely, you know, he's good outside of he's really good outside of the top 15. Brad Riddell, you know, we know his capabilities. A dog. The Bobby Green one, you know, Bobby Green was kind of rising. It's not a bad. It's a great win. I gotta go Jalen Turner on this one, Josh. I think he's gonna take care of Moicano. I think he's gonna piece him up on the feet. As much as I love me some money Moicano, and Moicano wants that money too, I'm not sure he's gonna get through this one, and I'm not sure he'll be able to go back to his wife and make another baby on that night.
Well, the good news is no matter what happens, I mean, he's got another brother on the way, so it's all right.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, dude, I'm full agreement with you, dude. I mean, I like Money Moicano, but dude, Jalen Turner has just looked excellent as of late, especially on the feet. Even in those losses, I mean, they were both split decision losses, and the Dan Hooker ones particularly was a fucking war. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Jalen Turner to get the win here. But look, dude, like I said, these early prelims are excellent. Next up, former champion Jessica Andrade taking on Marina Rodriguez. Jessica Andrade, man, we know the story here. Struggled for a long time. She took a lot of short notice fights, I believe, for like financial reasons. She had a lot of issues financially.
She's going through a divorce too, right?
That's why. She also got robbed in 2019, according to her Wikipedia. So that sucked. But anyways, you know.
Wait, really?
Yeah, apparently in Brazil. Oh, that's why. Yeah, but she did come back in November, knocked out Mackenzie Dern, highlight reel knockout. Part of that, she lost 3 in a row, all by finish, which is just shocking for somebody like Jessica Andrade. Marina Rodriguez, we know the story here. Just a dog. I mean, I remember after she beat Jon Jones I remember thinking she deserved a title shot. She didn't get it. Said she lost to Lemos by knockout, lost to Vernon Jandiroba, and then went out there and just beat the piss out of Michelle Watterson last September. Knocked her out, a rare stoppage loss for the Karate Hottie. What'd you make about this one?
I'm excited. And look, let me tell you this. If Jessica Andrade is on her fucking game at strawweight, she wins this fight. Yeah. I'm picking Jessica Andrade. I think she can get it done.
All right.
I think it's a scary pick because she's had those losses before, but she got one back. She's back at the weight class where I think she's best at. She has power. She's a dog. She's hungry for it. I think she can get it done.
All right. I agree with you. I don't think she's at her best. I'm going to take Marina Rodriguez for the upset win.
You don't think she's at her best at strawweight?
I mean, I think she's at her best at strawweight, but I think the fact that she's gotten bludgeoned so many times in her UFC career, and especially, I mean, she beat Mackenzie Dern, which was the best possible matchup for her at that point in time.
Yeah, but maybe that's all she needed.
Maybe that's all she needed. Maybe you're right. But I just think, dude, the massive height and reach disadvantage. Marina Rodriguez coming in here and just It looked like after she suffered the 2 losses in a row, it looked like she came back against Michelle Waterson to make a point. That fight wasn't close for a second.
Granted, though, Josh, can we look at that Michelle Waterson record, though?
I know. She's lost a shit ton of fights in a row. That's not my point. My point is, though, is that she showed a killer instinct that she just lacked in her last few fights. Jessica Andrade been finished multiple times.
Yeah, I'd kill something, too, if it was looking that weak.
Anyways, dude, I think I'm gonna take Marina Rodriguez though. We'll see. Well, maybe I'll be wrong.
I mean, it's a hard fight. It's a hard fight to pick.
It is.
Yeah,
and,
for a number of reasons.
Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna take Marina Rodriguez get the win here though. Dude, these fucking fights, dude. These last 2 might be straight up. They might fucking take Bo Nickel off the main card. Put Jim Miller on there, man.
I wouldn't be mad because then we could actually get the announcement we want if Jim Miller was on the fucking pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly. Because we have Jim fucking Miller coming back here, at the ripe age with Lyme disease running through his veins, the ripe age of 40. All right, he has won fucking 5 of his last 6. The one loss we mentioned earlier, a short notice loss to Alexander the Great Ape Hernandez, and he's gotten. And by the way, I mentioned won 5 of his last 6. Oh, by the way, all of those are coming by way of finish. None of them have been close. Beating guys like Donald Cerrone in there, Gilbert Benitez, another vet, taking on a fellow veteran, King Bobby Green.
The hood style fighter, Bobby Green.
Yeah, he's coming in here, man. Fuck jiu-jitsu, man. All he knows is hood, That's all he knows. Hood style. Lost to Jalen Turner, but before that, he was riding a 3-fight unbeaten streak. Granted, one of those is a no contest, but still counts. Beat the corpse of Tony Ferguson, but also knocked out a young Grant Dawson, handed him his first UFC loss. Look, man, Bobby Green having somewhat of a renaissance here. Both these guys having somewhat of a renaissance in their late 30s, early 40s. Bobby Green ranked. This is Jim Miller's chance to jump back at the rankings.
Could you imagine?
Well,
it just might fucking happen, Josh.
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna let you pick first. I'm just gonna let you know it is gonna happen on Saturday night.
I'm picking Jim fucking Miller, baby.
Dude, come on, dude. Hey, you know what? He won in UFC 100. He won in UFC 200. Knocked the shit out of Takanori Gomi. UFC 300. He's going for the trifecta, baby. We're going Jim fucking Miller.
3 from 3 for the free throw line, baby.
3 for 3. Bobby Green coming in here off a knockout loss where he got brutalized by Jalen Turner. That's a life-changing finish, dude.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
So I think there's a lot going on. Even normally, I think I might pick Jim Miller in this one. But the fact that there's all that stuff going against Bobby Green, I gotta give it to A10.
So the crowd's gonna be in favor of Jim probably too.
I know.
I think it might be a split crowd.
Yeah, we'll see.
Bobby Green has a lot of fans too.
So you're also in agreement with me?
Yeah, I'm going Jim Miller.
Hey, fuck yeah, dude. Hey, I love that. Fuck yeah, dude. Jim fucking Miller gonna pull off the win, dude.
I think it was gonna be Jim Miller no matter what, though.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I think if Jim Miller fought Islam, I probably still would have picked Jim Miller.
Dude, exactly. They could have put Brock Lesnar in there. Like Anthony Smith that one time, dude. I would have picked him. Anyways, and then this is the last fight. We'll preview the entire thing, dude. Here we go. The opening fight on the card, which just shows you the fucking how good it is.
Former champ versus former champ, Josh. We gotta highlight it. Opening up the UFC 300 card on the early prelims. The Brazilian champion, the cannibal Davison Figueiredo, taking on the American Cody No Love Garbrandt,
who is coming on. He's coming on, man. He's back. All right. You know what? Hey, look at me. He might have had a couple rough months. All right. Something like 36.
He might have been going through a divorce.
It was like 44 months in a row that he had that were rough. Okay. But you know what? It don't matter. All right. Cody No Love.
I'm back.
Look, dude.
You just think, fuck that, Josh. Before you even talk,
how
everybody was saying, I'm back when Jon Jones got in trouble recently and all that stuff came out. And it's like, holy shit, he's back.
Yeah.
Fuck that. You know who's actually back? It's actually Cody No Love. He's back. I'm picking Cody Garbrandt. I'm just dropping on you like a fucking bomb. It's been my pick the whole week. I don't know why. I have a feeling some magic's going to happen. Fucking both these guys being put on as look, it's not disrespectful, right? Because it's a big fucking card. Yeah. It doesn't matter where you're going to be placed on this card, especially when you're these two guys. Yeah. Granted, though, you could argue these guys could be prelims, fucking pay-per-view opener. Davison at bantamweight. Yeah. I mean, it's a big fight.
And it's a big fight. And also, dude, he came off. Who did Rob Font that he bludgeoned for 3 rounds?
Yeah, he looked good.
Looked good. I did all that hype up. I'm gonna pick Davison. I'm gonna pick him. But look, dude, I'm actually in agreement with you. I just for the sake of argument, I'm gonna go and split this one. It's a safe pick too. But dude, I got a feeling Cody No Love. I just got a feeling
He's gonna cook something up.
You can feel after his last 2 fights, like maybe that's just what he needed. Maybe he just needed a couple of tune-ups for him to get ready. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna take Davison, but dude, look, I would not be surprised at all if Cody No Love goes in there and just sparks him.
I can see, but I see this as one going either way. I can see either result happening.
Yeah,
it's happy and sad both ways. It's another one where you're heartbroken no matter what, right? Because it's kind of like Davison rising at 135. It's looking like he's gonna make this great story. Cody trying to return. He gets this one back. He established himself back in 135.
100%, man. Just to go ahead and close it out because we gave our picks for the entire card. Excitement level as of Wednesday morning, out of 10.
You know, now that we got to talk about it, that's a fucking 9.
Yeah, I'm there too. I'm gonna give it a 9-1.
Oof. By the way, Josh, I heard this question be asked on another podcast.
Yeah.
Who do you think will steal the show on this card? Look, there's a lot of factors to that, right? Because it depends on the result of the fight, how the fight goes.
I think it's going to be a tie, but I really think that Justin Gaethje Max Holloway fight's going to be an all-time banger. I know everybody thinks Max is going to go in there and just get dog walked, but I don't see it.
I think same thing here.
Diego Lopez maybe too. Jim Miller.
It could, dude. Funny enough, it's those guys at the start: Jim Miller or Cody. Yeah. I think if Cody wins, I think he steals the whole card for me personally, but it would be overlooked. I think.
Yeah. Anyways, man. That's all we got, man. That's all we got. We previewed the entire fucking card. So
I'm so excited.
UFC 300, man. This Saturday night, pumped for it. We got only 2 things of news to go ahead and close out. Nothing's really happened last week. It's all UFC 300, man.
Which is okay.
Which is all right. I'm not mad about it. Last week, though, you brought it up earlier. Jon Jones. There was some misreporting stating that he was arrested. He was not arrested. A woman did file a police report working for the Drug Free Sports company, which now works at the UFC after USADA is gone, alleging that he threatened to kill her, as well as he stole her phone, but I guess he gave it back or whatever. But and then Jon Jones later came out and released footage, CCTV footage. Jon was on the case and released some footage of himself high-fiving the woman tester who accused him of all this. That doesn't absolve him of any crimes. I think if Jon Jones threatened me, I'd also be like, hey, man, we're cool, like just that sort of shit. Personally, because I don't want to die, But anyways, there's not a whole lot we can say about this. It's a developing story, but again, it's another bad thing involving Jon Jones.
Like someone said earlier, I listened to this. It was like, if this was someone else, you could kind of maybe be like, okay, you could kind of make some sort of arguments or be like, oh, maybe this isn't necessarily normal behavior. This doesn't really happen ever really with this person, right? Mm-hmm. But the fact that Jon has had repeated behaviors that have been kind of close to this doesn't assist them at all if it is not true in some capacity.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Like, it's one of those things, like, you want to give him the benefit of the doubt. You really do. And it's funny because I've been around in this sport long enough to see Jon Jones go from the church boy to the bad boy of MMA. Like, this may sound fucking crazy to you younger fans, but I've been watching since 2011, which was Jon when he first won the title. You know what I mean? I wasn't around for contender Jon, but I was around for early champ Jon. You know what I mean? When
he stopped that robbery.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Nike.
Nike. He fucking stopped a robbery the day that he beat Shogun. The day he beat Shogun. He tackled a dude, stopped a robbery, right? And then I remember whenever the first thing happened, he got a DUI, hit like a light post or whatever. And everybody's like, man, that's really out of character for Jon. You know what I mean? And then I remember at the time, some people were like, you guys just don't know yet. You guys just Shot Evans, guys like that, you guys don't know.
But at the same time, it's kind of like, oh man, Jon just became champ. Maybe just too much fun.
And
right?
then it happens again. This time it's a hit and run.
That's the one that we always talk about?
Which is the one that he hit and run and hit a pregnant lady, ran back, got the drugs, jumped over the fucking fence, and just booked it, right?
What a way to go.
Yeah, right? And then we've got the other ones, minor, like DUIs, more of them.
Being pulled over, stuff like that.
The worst one, obviously, coming the night that he got inducted to the Hall of Fame, whenever he was at in a room at the MGM Grand, I believe it was the MGM Grand, and his daughter pleaded for the police to call, for the security guard to call the police, because Jon Jones was beating the mom in a hotel room, and they got there and she was covered in blood and all that shit. And got let off because she wouldn't press charges. I wonder why. You know what I mean? So, and it's just,
That was the same night John headbutted the car.
That's the night. Yes, that's the night Jon Jones headbutted the car. It was like, I fucking hate you, and he did that.
You know who the fuck I am?
Yeah, and dude, just all
this
that
is my
stuff.
night.
Exactly, and it's like, dude, like it just,
Called the police officers crackers.
Yeah, he called them a bunch of names, all that stuff, and it's like, dude, I said after that, I'm like, I'm not gonna be the guy that's gonna come in here and like rehabilitate John's image. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna bring it up every chance I can. You know what I mean? That's just horrific.
But Josh, after that, he had behaved himself for a while.
Let's call a spade a spade. He said that he was sober, and then you know what happened? The last few months, we started seeing videos of Jon Jones getting drunk at a nightclub. We saw Jon Jones at a party in Thailand. We've seen him living it up, which that's his right as a grown adult. You know what I mean?
Nothing bad ever came of that.
Look, man, you can be 36 and still party. I'm a believer in that. You know what I mean? But the issue is
you can party till the day you die, Josh. Come on.
Fuck yeah, bro. Yeah, exactly. The issue is whenever you start to have these things happen so often, it's like it's really hard to defend it. But look, at the same time, we also have to be fair here. We have no information. It is one person's word against another, and obviously the image looks very bad. But at the same time, he came out with that video. You know what I mean? He has some evidence on his side that shows that, who knows? So it's a he said, she said, and look, that's just the way it is. But yeah, I mean, it's so hard to defend when there's not just a pattern of behavior, but I don't even know what you would call it at this point. Like, it's just, there's the reason why his Wikipedia page has arrests. You know
it's just him.
Just an entire subsection. Yeah. If this were anybody else, they would have been.
You know what's crazy? What was that one thing DC told him in that interview? But it was like, you'll always be like this. You'll always make mistakes. You'll always fuck up in some capacity.
Because your behavior dictates that you don't learn and you're never gonna change. And it's like, fuck, dude.
And that quote's still stuck around.
That was 10 years ago, and we're still dealing with it.
Dude, if we make a TikTok out of this, you have to insert that.
I know. I probably will, actually. But yeah, dude, it's just, I don't know what to say about it. We'll have to wait and see. There was misreporting, to John's credit, saying that he was arrested. He's not been arrested, but
Jon Jones does not have another arrest on his record, guys.
He does not. It's a wait and see situation right now. But it's so hard to defend at a certain point.
There's been other talks, right, Josh? Like they told that gal talked to her supervisor.
Oh yeah, I didn't include that part. I'm happy you brought that up. Yeah.
And the supervisor kind of like didn't play it off, but said like, you should probably talk to UFC first before you do anything going forward. Which is like,
like, what, bro? Like you want she was gonna file a police report. She talked to her boss and she was like, hey, wait, we gotta talk to UFC first about this. And then she never heard back. And then I think that was the boss trying to do like damage control. I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate. Yeah. I think that was him trying to play damage control because they just became partners with the UFC. Correct. And this is a big partnership with them. This is one of their biggest stars. But at a certain point too, it's also like you need to look out for your people. You gotta look out for your people. And at that point, it's not real. It's not just. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Which just to be clear, the USADA was full of shit too. I mean, come on, picograms. What are we talking about here, dude? I remember whenever Jeff Nowitzki, Jon Jones tested positive for like 3 or 4 straight fights in a row, and they're like, "Yeah, bro, it doesn't matter. It's just picograms." Like, dude, you banned Frank Mir for like 3 years for the same shit. Tom Lawler never fought again. And then we have more plates, more dates that goes on Joe Rogan's podcast. He's like, yeah, he was totally juicing. He had estrogen levels of a 13-year-old girl. Yeah, dude, he was, and at that point too, by the way, whenever he was first coming, I remember that at that point, whenever that test result came out, he was like fucking just peeled out of his fucking tree, dude. He was massive, and he still is. So, yeah, and the whole thing of that story too is the whole drug testing part from the more recent one where he's like in trouble, where she filed a police report. I guess like he couldn't pee, and then the whole reason why John blew up is I guess she offered to do a blood test, and apparently that's when he lost his shit, and then eventually ended up giving him the drug sample. But look, have to wait and see, and we're gonna be fair, innocent until proven guilty, and has not even been charged in connection with any crime. Yeah. So we have to be very clear on that. So this is all allegations. We do not get sued. No, it's all allegations. But yeah, it's all allegations. It's all allegations. So we'll have to wait and see. But anyways, man. This is the last thing to close off with. And this is kind of just being a quick little segue into just your interest level, because we talked this a little bit, but now we have more details about this. Jorge Masvidal versus Nate Diaz are going to be going on a North American press tour. They're going to be hitting, I believe, 5 stops. That's great. Over this. Damn, they're pulling the good old Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather on this one. They're pulling out of the playbook. They're doing boxing. They said, we're doing boxing. We're doing boxing. Okay, we're going to do a whole press tour, which is you don't really see that for the UFC these days.
Sad, right? But at the same time, what fights are deserving of that these days?
Well, yeah, you make a good point. Anyways, man,
They haven't hyped one up enough to deserve. Well, I feel like if they did Izzy Pereira 3,
that would have been good.
that would be a good one.
Anyways, so they're gonna go to Vegas. They're gonna go to Miami. They're gonna go to California. I don't remember where else. There's one more sandwiched in there, maybe Dallas, I think. But yeah, they're gonna go and hit them all this over the next week or so. Interest level in that, interest level in the fight. I mean, it's officially 10 rounds, officially light heavyweight. We've learned some more details over time. Interest level in Jorge Masvidal versus Nate Diaz 2 in the boxing ring. Out of 10,
like a 7.5.
7.5. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I mean, I'll watch it. I'm gonna watch the press tour. I'm very interested to see how they hype it up because if you guys remember,
How many people are going to be at those pressers too?
Exactly. I'm not gonna be there. So, yeah, they. I remember their first fight. They were actually pretty respectful towards one another. You know, it was kind of like, we're both gangsters. I remember Jorge wore the Scarface suit or whatever to the first press conference, and it's pretty sick. Yeah, man. Look,
and the fight ended up being kind of a letdown.
I loved the fight at the time, but granted, it was just really lopsided.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, I see. Although that's the thing, though. How would it have gone if they got into the championship rounds? Whenever Nate starts to come on, slowing. He was slowing down.
What if
he was slowing down? But yeah, I mean, look, I'm excited for it. I'll watch these press conferences. Hey man, maybe they'll do a virtual one. Maybe they'll let
man.
If only, right?
Round 2.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, man, yeah, I'll watch it. Should be fun. That fight going down June 1st, like we talked about, super stacked day for combat sports, man. UFC 304, I believe, going down that day as well. And then what fight is it? Wilder Zhang, and then better be Bivol. So stacked day of combat sports. But anyways, man, that's all I got. Anything else we talk about before we can close out of here?
No, man, I'm so excited because next week's gonna be so fun to recap all the content we're gonna be making around this, and there's gonna be a lot of matchups that are gonna be able to be made post this card. So, I mean, it's gonna get really, really, really interesting, Josh. Because, I mean, so many of these guys are ranked near the rankings. I mean, that's gonna be a lot of changes. That Tuesday or Wednesday when the rankings get updated next week, wild as hell.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild, man. Super psyched for UFC 300. Couldn't be more excited, man. Hopefully it's a good card. Hopefully it's not a UFC 200. You know what I mean? UFC 200 was okay, but it didn't quite live up to the expectations. But that was also a lot of weird shit happened too. So we'll see what happens. But anyways, man, I'm at Josh Evanoff on Twitter, at Angel Ortega _01, at Courtside Sound for all things related to the show. Thank you guys for all the support lately. If you guys enjoyed this video and the whole podcast as a whole. Peace and butt grease. No mouse click.